So, in part 6 of the mystery of the Bantu code in unraveling biblical language, today we speak about, guess what? The origin of the alphabet, alright? Now, have you ever sat down and thought and really wondered to yourself where the word alphabet came from and its history as well as its origin, right? Okay, now, there are many definitions and there are many authors that will give you the definition of the word alphabet, and they seem to all stem and point to European sources, right? Remember that in fact it's even relayed in a European language. So the worldview relayed behind the origin of the alphabet tends to be of European thinking, right? Okay, so now let's go back and just examine this. Remember that history is not just history, it's his story, right? So what you have, the basic definitions that you will see with the authors and even on Google, for those who Google, okay? Now, let's go and look up the sources, which I call his story, of where the origin and the etymology of the word alphabet comes from, okay? And if you find where that word originates from, it's more likely that's where the alphabet originated from, right? So that is what is usually implied. So hang on a second. Now, I did a simple search over here, and of course the first thing that came was Oxford Languages. Pay attention to how Oxford is so, should I say, it's so ubiquitous when it comes to African language. For some reason, the Oxford University Press is such an important, should I say, influencer in defining African language. Why? I don't know. So here we go. Well, here's the definition for the word alphabet given by, okay, the Oxford Languages, right? So the etymology of this word, according to Oxford Languages, comes from the early 16th century, from the late Latin alphabetum, and from Greek alpha, beta, the first two letters of the Greek alphabet. So right there you see that, right? Very civilized in its definition. It says that the root, in fact, of the word alphabet, of course, is, you see that, Latin and Greek. Now, what does that tell the mind? That it's possible that they, Europeans, are the ones who invented the alphabet, right? Now, let's look at another definition. Now, the Merriam-Webster dictionary, right, says that the alpha is the first Greek letter. It is based on the Hebrew word aleph, okay, which comes from the word aleph, meaning ox, and beta is the second Greek letter, okay? So now the Merriam-Webster associates the word alphabet, all right, with Greek. The other one didn't, right? Now let's look at a Swahili dictionary. Alright, a Swahili dictionary, and we call that a kamusi. So let's look at this kamusi here real quick. Where does the word alphabet originate from? Now, in Swahili, we call the alphabet alphabeti, right? Alright, now look at the definition over there. It says clearly that the root of this word is what? Of English origin. You see that? Now, I'm so confused. The Swahili dictionary says it's of English origin, and then the Merriam-Webster says it's of Greek origin, okay? And the the Merriam-Webster dictionary says that it's of Hebrew origin, so the Greeks were inspired by the Hebrews, all right? And then you have Oxford Languages saying it comes from Latin, all right, as well as Greek. Could these European colonialists make up their mind when they're trying to confuse people or redefine concepts? I'm just wondering why they can't make up their mind where this word comes from. Now, remember, this dictionary, okay, is a Swahili dictionary published by Oxford University Press. Do you see why Oxford is all over these languages? They keep going as they redefine language, and definitions and meanings. All right? Truly, that is really the goal of the colonialists. All right? So, we're going to shift into another mode. Now, let's look at Hebrew, right? Because Merriam-Webster seems to say that that definition comes from Hebrew. But before we proceed to the Hebrew alphabet, I'm just so confused. So Africa gave birth to life, right? Africa gave birth to mankind. But yet, writing according to European sources was invented in Iraq, in Mesopotamia. Okay? But also, Hebrews were the ones that influenced the Greeks. You see that? So, at what point was this that Hebrews influenced the Greeks with the word alphabet? I'm just curious, because Greek philosophers and teachers such as Aristotle, Socrates, they all went to school in Egypt. Now, another definition also says that the word alphabet has its root in what? Egyptian language. That I concur with. All right? And Hebrew I do concur with. Right? But we have to go back to the etymology of this word so we can find out really where does the word alphabet come from. Are these definitions that are out there, okay, made by Europeans, are they correct? Are they right? Are they probably even biased? I wonder, why can't they make up their mind where alphabet comes from? Okay, so let's dig into this one, alphabet. All right, now this here is Paleo-Hebrew, right? Just like it says up over there, Paleo-Hebrew. Now, here's the thing. When you join two pictographs, because these are pictographs, this is, the ancient form of writing. Now, these, this one here is a pictograph, the next one is a pictograph. Now, when you join two pictographs together, okay, you create a parent root, all right? Now, let's look at that. The first letter over there you see is represented by the head of an ox, right? That's Aleph, all right? The second one over there you see is represented by what? Just like the wall of a house, Beit, all right? Now, if you join those two together, Aleph and Beit, it's from here that you get the word what? Alphabet, right? Aleph and Beit. Now, let's look at the meaning of the word Aleph. Aleph means an ox, which of course then carries a connotative meaning of the concept of strength, power, a leader, a chief, a champion, right? Aleph. And you can see that, in fact, the pictograph is represented by an ox. An ox is very strong. That's what was used to plow the land. Okay, so in that sense, it was a provider. The ox was a provider in that sense, almost like a father, because it would till the land, right? And the Most High himself, okay, is an Aleph. Why? Because he's our provider, right? Now, you have Beit, okay? Beit represented by the wall of a house. And that, of course, means a house, right? So you have the two words, Aleph, Beit. And that's where you get the letter alphabet, right? Now, so tune into part 7 and I will explain to you the real origin of the root word alphabet. And no, it's not Greek, it's not Latin, okay? And if Africa gave birth to the world, then we also gave birth to Hebrews. I gave you a hint. So tune in for part 7 coming up.